Hello everyone, I'm Caroline Sweeney.
And I'm Diane Hoffman. You're watching Off the Presses, the show that recaps the biggest news of the week around the Tri-County area and previews articles to come straight off the pages of the Pottstown Mercury. Voting is set to begin for the 2014 Mercury Top Dog Contest. The contest benefits Pottstown Bark for Life, which is held Saturday, April 12th in Memorial Park. The pup that raises the most money will win the title of Top Dog and will be featured in an upcoming print edition of the Mercury. Voting will be held until April 18th. To vote, pick up a copy of the April 3rd edition of the Mercury for your print ballot. Circle the photo of the dog or dogs you're voting for and write out a check for each dog. Votes cost $1 each and all proceeds go towards the American Cancer Society. Full instructions can also be found on the ballot.
Music lovers around the Tri-County area have been able to see jazz artists from around the world during the first week of the Berks Jazz Fest. The festival, which started on March 28th, ends April 6th and hosts several simultaneous shows around the county. In Boyertown, the festival is happening at the Other Farm Brewing Company, which is hosting 5 Jazz Fest events. On Friday, April 4th, there will be a special performance by the Cider House Band, led by local legend Henry Freecon. Full concert and ticket information can be found on the website berksjazzfest.com.
Bobby Rydell, the Duprees, and the First Ladies of Rock and Soul came to Pottstown Saturday night. The 60s icon brought a crowd so big to Pottstown High School, concert goers had to park blocks away. Rydell sang some of his classics like Volare, Wild One, and Sway. The First Ladies of Rock and Soul and their band recreated the unforgettable sounds of the Supremes, the Ronettes, and many more. Our editor, Nancy March, got a chance to see the crowd from the stage when she was serenaded by the Duprees. We'll be right back.
Take advantage of gold's record prices and bring your scrap gold to Douglas Diamonds at our Pottstown store for cash now. 1300 North Charlotte Street in Pottstown. Call 484-941-6453 or visit our website at www.douglasdiamondscorp.com.
Looking for a flexible job? Need to make your own schedule? Chestnut Knoll at Home is seeking reliable, mature individuals for at-home caregiver positions. At-home caregivers are responsible for providing assistance to individuals in their homes.
Fire companies were busy over the weekend attending to fires that destroyed several buildings in the area. 20 people were forced from their homes by a Sunday morning fire near the intersection of Church and Bridge Streets in Phoenixville. Residents were living in a multi-unit row home when the fire broke out around 6:45 a.m. The fire began on a bed, according to the Chester County Fire Marshal Harrison Holt, who added the accelerant was a smoking material, either a cigarette or a lighter. More than $500,000 worth of equipment was destroyed when a garage went up in flames at Blackwood Golf Course last Thursday. Inside the garage were 70 pieces of equipment used to keep the golf course operating, such as mowers, tractors, and gasoline. Union Township Fire Marshal Robert Erb said the fire started as an electrical fire in the roof. Thick black smoke from the fire near Douglasville could be seen in downtown Pottstown. There were no injuries reported, but the garage and its contents were a total loss. Police charged one person in connection with a fire that damaged a garage Saturday night in Pottstown. According to police, a teenager was charged after investigation showed gasoline was used as an accelerant, making the fire an alleged act of arson. Around 5 p.m., emergency responders arrived in the 200 block of North Hanover Street. Pottstown Fire Chief Richard Lengel said firefighters were able to extinguish the fire in 12 minutes. During an interview with police, the teenager charged allegedly admitted to pouring gasoline on cardboard, then lighting it on fire. On Sunday, Pete Rose turned up in a place you might not expect him, a church. Rose was interviewed by the Reverend Brian Jones, pastor of Christ Church of the Valley, as a part of an event titled Second Chances. Frank Otto went to the event and has the story.
1980 World Series champ and baseball legend Pete Rose was hosted by the Movie Church in Upper Providence Sunday for an event called Second Chances. Rose was contacted by the church's leadership to come in for an interview to highlight a unit of teaching on the value of giving those who need it another shot in life. Pastor Brian Jones questioned Rose about things such as the origin of his nickname, Charlie Hustle, how Rose's father influenced him, and general life in the big leagues spanning from the 60s well into the 80s.
And I believe the biggest thing I did for Philadelphia, and I didn't do this purposely, it just happened the way I played. When I got to the Phillies in '79, Mike Schmidt was the best player in the league 3 days a week, maybe 4. And after playing with me a year, he became the best player in the league 7 days a week. Because I made Mike understand that you're not going to hit a home run every day. So lead with your glove, lead with your base running, lead with your leadership.
Rose spoke on his chances at the Hall of Fame and the game's issues with steroids in the generations that followed him.
Everybody in this audience hopefully won't have the problems that I had, but we have different problems. And if they come to the forefront, get them out there as quickly as you possibly can. Because the faster you get them out there, the faster the healing process starts.
Following the last service on Sunday, Rose hopped a private flight to Cincinnati.
Residents will see more lane closures as well as stop-and-go traffic for several days on Route 422, while beams are being added to area bridges. One lane of eastbound traffic will be closed on Saturday from 5 a.m. until 1 p.m. between the Route 724 exit and the Saratoga interchange, while beams are added to the bridge at Arm & Hammer Boulevard. Drivers will also experience intermittent 15-minute traffic stoppages between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. that day. On April 7th through the 11th, and again on April 14th through the 18th, the lane will be closed from 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the same location. Off the Presses will be back after this break.
Opportunity awaits you at our expanding personal care retirement community. Part-time openings for all shifts. Join our growing team providing quality care in our brand new facility. Apply today at Keystone Villa at Douglasville.
Coventry Little League is stepping up to the plate to help the North Coventry Food Pantry Saturday. The Pantry Collection Day will coincide with Coventry Little League's opening day festivities and games on Saturday, April 5th at the Wampler Complex. The food collection will run from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The pantry is in need of canned fruit, jelly, juice boxes, and toothpaste. Not only is baseball a sign of the season's changing, early spring flowers are popping up, which means that it's time to start thinking about planting those annuals. A harsh winter has taken its toll, but the arrival of spring and April showers is finally allowing gardeners to get back into the soil. Jeff Schwartz of Somerset Nursery in West Vincent said some local gardeners had to clear their lawns of snow and downed branches before they could start planting. Gardeners will also want to be on the lookout for splits in trees they want to save. For residents who plant a vegetable garden, the wait may be a little longer than normal this year due to the cold. Crops such as cucumbers, tomatoes, squash, and beans shouldn't be planted outside until the last frost of spring, which is usually around Mother's Day. There's a lot of news coming out of the Spring City and Phoenixville area. Frank Otto took a look at a tax abatement program and a new library coming to town.
The Spring City Public Library is well on its way to completing the transformation from its start as a one-room schoolhouse to a 21st century community information center. Library Director Lois Shupp describes the project.
It's coming along really well. It's been a while in the works. I think it's been almost 11 years since they first came up with the idea. But we finally started building in October of this year to build the new library on Broad Street where we used to be located.
Construction was scheduled to be finished in May or June, but it's progressed quickly and the new building will likely be ready at the end of the month.
So we're really excited to move back and just move into our new facility, which will be a lot bigger than here and as well as the old library. So it'll be great to be there.
While construction has continued, the library has operated out of a small storefront on Riverside Drive. Shupp said it's worked out, but there has been less traffic due to a lack of public computers available. Although most of the library project has been paid off, you can check the website for details on how to donate to the project. The Phoenixville Area School Board is pondering expanding a tax abatement ordinance that Borough Council unanimously approved early last month. The abatement, officially called a Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Program, or LERTA for short, is designed to bring development into areas such as the ones shown here, which are on the borough list. The hope is to incentivize development by freezing tax assessments until a project comes in, then only increasing the taxes incrementally over a period not exceeding 10 years once the improvements are complete. Added to an already existing LERTA list is Old Borough Hall, which is in a residentially zoned area. The school board is wary of approving LERTA sites in residential spots for fear of adding students but delaying tax income. A decision is expected from the school board sometime this month. If they approve the LARTA sites, they will go on for county approval before being enacted.
Improve your outdoor living space. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Do it all or in steps with our expandable system. Call Mac House Contracting at 610-530-8727.
Hi, this is Mercury Sports Editor Austin Herzog on sports. Wet weather has done its best to dampen the start of the spring sports season, but area high school teams have soldiered on over the past week. In fact, the last week has featured a number of Pioneer Athletic Conference championship game rematches from a year ago. Last Friday, in boys lacrosse, Spring-Ford renewed its rivalry with O&J Roberts, teams that have faced off in 8 straight Pac-10 title games every year the league has existed. The Rams used a strong start and came away with a 10-7 victory over the Wildcats. Spring-Ford goalie Matt Meserly stood tall with 15 saves, while attackman Alex Marty scored 4 goals and an assist to lead the way for the 3-time defending league champions. On Tuesday, the Boyertown and Spring-Ford softball teams faced off in a rematch of last year's Pac-10 final. Spring-Ford's Cassie Alexi delivered the big blow, a 2-run double in the Rams' 3-run third inning to help Spring-Ford come away with a 3-2 win. Pitcher Jenna Lee came away with the win, allowing 2 runs on 5 hits before Amber Sergis threw 2 2/3 scoreless innings to preserve the win. In baseball, the same 2 schools, Boyertown and Spring-Ford, faced off in a marquee matchup. The Bears jumped out early with 6 runs in the first 2 innings on the way to a 6-2 victory. For the 2-time league champions, Dalton Hughes was 3 for 3 and scored 2 runs, while pitchers Tyler Bauman and Sean Pavlik combined to keep the Rams at bay, allowing 7 hits in the game. Also Tuesday, Daniel Boone's Zach Hefner threw a no-hitter in the Blazers' 4-0 win over Red Lion. Hefner struck out 10 in his outstanding start. Looking ahead, the busy spring sports season continues with a full slate of games on Friday. On Saturday, the Hill School will dedicate 2 new athletics fields, the Harry L. Price Field and the William West Hauser Track. The dedication ceremonies will precede the Hill track and field relays and a boys lacrosse game between Hill and Mercersburg Academy. And now, we go to Frank Otto with a story on 2 members from the Broad Street Bullies from the Philadelphia Flyers.
Broad Street Bullies Bernie Perrant and Joe Watson came out to Power Back Rehabilitation for a pep rally Tuesday in which they signed autographs and took pictures with fans of all ages. In the event, Perrant kept his glass-half-full look on life.
I remember when we were introduced the first year, 1967, to Philadelphia. We were on the float on Broad Street, and about 10 people showed up. 7 years later, we won the championship, and we had over 2 million people in the parade. You know, so it tells you the kind of people I love. It's my family, everybody's family. That's why we all stayed here. And everywhere I go today, I feel I'm part of the family, and it's a beautiful gift.
For more than an hour, Watson and Perrant posed for pictures and signed autographs for the fans gathered. 40 years later, the two, along with their teammates, are still venerated for their cup runs.
You know what? We came along at the right time where a bunch of Canadians came down from Canada, and we won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 74 and 75. And I talk to people today that they can remember where they were when the Flyers won the Stanley Cup. I never realized our popularity would continue this long into 40 years later.
The current Flyers are in the midst of a playoff hunt, narrowly trailing the New York Rangers for second in the Metro Division.
Don't wait any longer. Start saving money on your heating bill when you heat your entire home, water, and more with the safe, comfortable heat of a central boiler outdoor furnace. Call Keeler Service Center at 215-723-8445 or visit KeelerServices.com. McConnell's Refrigeration has a huge inventory of refurbished refrigerators and restaurant equipment. Local delivery is $25, We service all makes and models. Call Rob at 610-469-6107.
That does it for us this week. I'm Diane Hoffman.
And I'm Caroline Sweeney. You can find the most up-to-date news, weather, sports, and entertainment at the Mercury's website, pottsmerc.com. Follow us on Twitter. Our handle is MercuryX, and you can find us on Facebook. We'll be here every week with a recap of the top stories and what you can find coming up next off the presses.